When you hear the term Disney, what do you usually think of? Characters, movies? Well, I think of the creator, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about Walter Elias Disney. And Walter Elias, he was born in 1901 in Chicago, and that's where it really all began, is in Chicago. He was in high school, and he joined the newspaper at his school, and he ended up doing little patriotic drawings, because that was during the World War I era. And that's how his drawings really started, and he stopped for a moment because at age 16 he decided to go and try and sign up for the war. So he dropped out of school, tried to do that. They obviously denied him because he needed to be 18 at the time. So he comes back and he decides to join the Red Cross. And so he ends up getting the opportunity. He goes all the way out to France and he's able to drive an ambulance for a year or so. So it doesn't really start back up, the drawing, until we get back into the States. So he ends up going back to Kansas City. And now we're at about 1920 or so. And he ended up joining a temp group called Pessman Robin Art Studio. And he did little drawings for, magazines, newspapers, movie theaters, those types of things. But what was really sticks out about that area is he met Ube Iwerks. And Ube Iwerks is a man that ends up helping him get Mickey all drawn up here in the end. So that's super exciting. But we'll get there shortly. But anyway, so after that, he decides the temp agency, he tries to start the new company, and it's with a man who worked in an ad area, and it was Fred Harmon, and they ended up naming it Disney and Harmon, and they began making laughograms, and those were just little short skits that they did for a little while, and they ended up having the laughogram studio. But as everything happens, hard times come, and Walt could not pay his employees anymore, so it went bankrupt, but Walt Disney, he just kept pushing on. So next he ended up going to Universal out in Hollywood. And this is where the fun stuff really starts to get into. But so in Hollywood, he meets a man called Charles Mintz. And Walt ends up becoming the producer of Oswald the Rabbit here. And as you can see, Oswald looks quite a bit similar to Mickey. But anyway, so how that goes is, almost becomes an instant success, Oswald the Rabbit. And Walt decides to go up to New York at about 1928, I think it is, and he went up there to ask for more money because it's such a success. He wanted to have more money for it. And Charles Mintz decided, well, that's just not going to do, and I'm actually going to lower your pay that we give you already. So if that's what you want, then great. Otherwise, we're going to keep the rights to Oswald the Rabbit, and you'll be done. So that's exactly what Walt did. He just left and went back to Kansas City. So at this point, he has this void, he's sad, he's not happy about it, so he decides to come up with a character, and while he was making the laughograms, he had a little pet mouse, and that's how he decided to go with this little character. And so this is Ube Iwerks comes back, and he helps sketch out Mickey, make it more drawable, but before he was Mickey, he was Mortimer the Mouse, and Walt's wife just thought that sounded ridiculous, so she was like, no, Mickey sounds much better. So they ended up doing Mickey Mouse, and that's how he was born. So at this point, Mickey became popular around the 1930s and really exploded. And after that, he started to introduce the different characters such as Donald Duck, Pluto, Goofy. And then everything just kept going on the rise. So at this point, he decides, you know what? I want to get into motion pictures. So in 1934, that's when he started making Snow White. And times were hard, it took a while, but by 1938, they finally got it out there, and it made $8 million, and at this point in time, that was the most it had ever made for a film. So, and after that, he's just making more money, and he came out with Peter Pan, Dumbo, Alice in Wonderland, it just keep going on, but anyway, this man, he just kept going no matter what happened, even if he bankrupt, kept getting down, he still kept going. So when you hear the name Disney now, or you hear the phrase Disney, I hope you can think of Walter Elias Disney, because truly a great man, and he's brought smiles to all our faces. Thanks so much for watching.